Make sure you can hear. Good morning, Jason. Jason, good morning. I'm just checking to make sure you can hear me.
Oh, yes. Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay.
Perfect. Cool. Yeah, I'm gonna just have everyone go on mute, and then we'll unmute when you're presenting.
That's like we find a common together. It's like that's not like common like restaurant and normal. Yeah, I got this before. Yeah, okay. All right. Yeah. Sean. Right. He was a crazy. So I got where the commitment out of me.
He interested.
Kind of like interested in. Okay, itself will be the Middle Eastern one.
All right, let's come on down. Yeah, get kicked off.
Get the party started. How are you?
Yeah, just see you. Hey, how we doing?
Yeah,
Right for my notebook.
Commonwealth? No, I want to start going there. Actually.
Yeah, you should. It's
Office, you guys, because you guys have.
We have a few, yes.
Mass and Massive and
I'm gonna be running every day.
yeah.
Like I'll go to like support
Yeah.
Yeah, I've done that.
So pretty good.
Yeah, more people there. It'll be good to have them on that office. Yeah, they're totally going. Trying to go.
They actually have to be.
All right, welcome everyone. Excited here for our Breakthrough Summit. This is part of our Prepare for VC program. We kicked off this cohort back in November, and we're excited to have the graduation event today. All the founders put in a lot of great work throughout the program. Excited to have them share. We're going to give some quick shout outs, highlights to the mentors and partners we've had involved throughout the process. And really our focus has been really, helping everybody figure out, like, the whole reason we call it the Breakthrough program in general is, we found everybody else like tries to fit into an acceleration model. And so, speed isn't always the thing you need. It's about figuring out what that one roadblock is and what those challenges are and how you can overcome them. We want to do that in an efficient manner as well, but that's why we call it the Breakthrough. And we're excited about all the breakthroughs these founders have made. So quick shout out to, Prepare for VC is our organization running the cohort. Startup Grind Boston is our startup community. And so we do, we run the local chapter of the global startup community hub. Started in Silicon Valley. There's 200 chapters around the world. And we host everything from pitch events, fireside chats, workshops. We're going to be running World Cup competition, Startup World Cup competition in May as well. And then SVB, I'll give it back to Ben when he comes back to give a quick intro. They're a great host for today. Awesome space here in Financial District in Boston, and they've been really supportive throughout our program. There we go. So this is where we are now, giving some opening remarks. Our purpose here is really celebrating all the founders, the resilience, traction, connecting founders with mentors, investors, partners, even learning from other founders in the room as well. And so we started with some networking, going through the intros now, and then we're going to go right into the pitches. Here's a quick snapshot of the schedule. We're going to have one of our companies, Bidiyuk, is actually based in Israel. So Shabbat today, and we recorded a video presentation so they could still be a part of this in the graduation. Then we're going to have Floel, Ada, Skin Genius, 360 Solar, and Reg Metrics pitch, and then just do congratulations and networking, have everybody get to meet each other and build on this community. Our mission is really equipping founders with data-driven execution, clarity, and community support. So we really focus on three main things: leadership development, execution cadence, and market and network alignment. So making sure everybody, figures out what there's a lot of things in your startup, probably 100 different things everybody's trying to do all at once, and helping all these entrepreneurs figure out what's that next step that's going to move you and your venture forward. Sorry. And hopefully the slides work. So with that, we focus on founder and team attributes, execution metrics, marketing, timing analysis. And the reason we do this is we think these are the three most important pieces of any venture and any investment opportunity. Is the people behind the business, especially at an early stage, is you're really investing in the founders and the team to take action and move this forward. And so we love that we get to work with really coachable, really skilled entrepreneurs that are experts in their space, and help them with the other aspects of building a angel venture scale company. Execution metrics, figuring out what those trackable milestones are for each of their companies, and how they can, even hit some smaller steps in the meantime to prove each phase of the company and make it more exciting to everybody else in the market. Market timing and analysis is really telling that story of why this wasn't possible before. There's a lot of, or now we're seeing even faster technological improvements than ever before. So, uncovering why now and building that into each of their stories and frameworks as well. These are some of the personal attributes we look at. So we talk about self-efficacy, which is really understanding who you are, what your strengths are, and where your gaps are, and how you can either work with the right people, bring in the right partners, and even have your own strategies to overcome some of those challenges. And one of the main things there is there's again 100 things on your roadmap, but recognizing what they are and uncovering them so that at least you're not blindsided by them down the road. These are things you either figure out now or have to figure out at certain points later. Clarity, understanding who you are, where you're going, and situational awareness is basically that ability not just to pivot, but also to figure out what are some of the small tweaks you need to take based on feedback and how you can adapt to certain situations. This is a quick preview of one of our other tools we launched. Our first, we'd always been a services community business, and then we launched our first tech platform the end of last year as well. We're keep updating and improving with every launch too, but it's called Compass, and the whole idea is you can figure out where you are and where you're going. You take an initial assessment, and there we go. The whole purpose is to figure out clarity, awareness, and self-efficacy. And so you go through an assessment. It's a lot of the personal leadership characteristics that we want to get to know, and then also some business traction milestones, and all of that leads to an understanding of your clarity, your awareness, and building in what your next week prescription is. And then we do weekly check-ins to see how you're performing on those tasks, and update with new milestones you can keep working towards. And so excited. We have today's presenting graduates. We have Jerry, Yulia, Shiv, and Girish, Huron, Walter, Paul, and Olivier. And you're going to get to hear from all of them today. And then thank you to our sponsors and partners. Ben, do you want to come up and give a quick intro on SVB?
Yeah, sure. I mean, I think most of you guys know me already. I mean, if not, nice to meet you. My name is Ben Maiden-Lewis, Director of Startup Banking here at SVB. Former client forever today, founder for 20-something years. You guys, a lot of you guys actually do know me. So if you want to give my pitch for me, Tony, you probably can. Anybody? But yeah, no, founder for over 20-something years. Had a few successful exits, many more failures. YC alum, angel investor, startup mentor, XYZ. But here specifically focused on the formation of the EIN through the Series A inflection point. So it's a really tactical position that we're in, constantly in the trenches, either helping with the go-to-market strategy and everything else, with great partners like Jason and the team that we really believe in, man. And that's why we always support and do whatever, because, you know, this stage is really volatile. It's very exciting. It's the most exciting part for me. If I go later stage in a bank, I get very disenfranchised pretty quickly. Not for anything bad, but I'm an accidental banker, right? So I like building. But that's where we are. So we're built with startup banking. If we do our jobs right, we graduate to the growth banking side and then the corporate side and then IPO, and then we have our adventure again. The amount of repeat founders we work with is a lot of fun. We also have a really great affluent wealth advisory crew here. Daniel's on my team over there. Well, he's on the affluent wealth advisory crew. But what's great about that is, like, when I was in Founder Vibes, I left a lot of money on the table. I made a lot of mistakes because I didn't ask the right questions. And specifically on that side, I didn't realize, and call me dumb, but I was really focused on the North Star and a whole bunch of other things. But I did not know that I could leverage what I was spending in R&D to offset payroll taxes. I did not know how easy it was to spin up 401ks to attract higher quality talent. And I didn't know that ultimately I could tap into my equity and the value and everything that we were doing to get like a mortgage or other things. Like, I really didn't know. So instead, I would sleep in the office for a few years and everything else while we were worth a lot of money and making a lot of money, but I just kept focusing on that North Star. So now that we're here, it's really just about helping you guys wherever we can, partnering with great people in the ecosystem that are doing the good work, and then just being supportive wherever. So reach out anytime, but otherwise make yourselves at home. Super excited to be a part of this, and enjoy the day, and happy Friday.
Appreciate it. Thank you. Great. And yeah, so we have our legal partners, Greenberg Touring. TLM is our product development partners. They're actually they are helping us with some new iterations of the Compass platform now, and they've led a couple sessions as mentors in our cohort program as well. Startup Grind I introduced as our startup community. Boston New Tech's another partner community we have as well, running startup showcases around the city. We're partnered up on the FinTech Showcase happening February 26th here at SVB as well. Greenwood Marketing is a marketing partner led by Courtney Greenwood. And yeah, she's been a mentor in our program as well. And then Spur, Tony, you want to give a quick intro as well?
Sure. Thank you. Thank you, Jason. My name is Tony Zan. I'm founder of Spur. Spur is one of the largest founders only and probably most active founders community in Boston. We've got tons of things going on. I won't go into a lot of them, but the primary objective of this community is really to bring founders together so we can serve as each other's advisors, because we all come into our technology startups with tremendous expertise. There's no reason why we shouldn't share with each other what we have experienced, what we have learned, really to help our fellow founders so that, we won't have to make the same mistake again. I'm super excited to sort of really join force with Jason as well. We have recently hosted meetings to have founders do a 4-minute presentation. They have investors provide coaching and guidance. Wanted to quickly announce another very exciting program. We're organizing the first founders retreat in Greece in June. So we're going to have 20 people living in the same Airbnb. So we have the opportunity to do some sightseeing as well as collaborating among ourselves. So during this process, we're going to encourage founders to send their decks to us, and we're going to pick 5 best. And then we're going to bring the 5 best founders in front of investors and have them pitch. And the winner will get a free trip. worth
Sounds
up to
amazing.
$4,000. And also, if you win, I think investors most likely will invest. So just talk to me if you're interested in getting involved. Thank you.
Perfect. Thank you.
Thank you.
Here we go. Want to give a shout out to our core facilitators and mentors throughout the program, spanning from marketing, communication, growth strategy, vocal pitches, product market fit, fundraising, branding. Yeah. We had Ben lead an alternative financing session. And yeah, we have a lot of great mentors and partners that have joined in and helped all of our founders. So really appreciate all their support. This is before we get into the pitches, I always like to do this quick exercise. This is how we categorize personas in our program. And so you can be a blend, but we basically say most people fall into one of these categories. And so I just want to get, I'm going to go over what they are. I want to get a feel for who identifies with what in the room. So we have a churner, which are people who are more methodical, analytical approached. You're going to be the ones that when you're making a decision to buy something, you're comparing features and functions and kind of looking on, again, more of that analytical basis. The charmer are people that value the personal relationships most. So you're going to look for things that have great customer service. You get to know the founders or the people behind it first, and that's how you're making your decisions. And challengers are people that are looking, they use the phrase like disruption. They look for things that are the most innovative no matter what, and they want to be the first person to try new products as well. So from those quick descriptions, who identifies most with a churner? Got a couple churners in the room. What about the charmer? Got a number of charmers in the room as well. Challenger? Nice, got some challengers here too. Awesome. Yeah, and I think, that framework helps just for basically even kind of our strategy, like when you're having discussions, when you're having meetings one-on-one after this as well, there's different styles people like. So, the challenger is going to be somebody that likes more of that agenda up front and go into, the big vision and big details versus churner likes, they like all the facts and presentation and then dive into, the questions from there. So charmer likes to have more of that personal small talk at the beginning and get to know each other better even before a pitch. And now we're going to go right into the breakthrough. So for each of the companies, going to give a couple questions, quick intro, warm up. They're going to do a 5-minute pitch, and then we're going to take audience Q&A. The first pitch, as I mentioned, is actually a recorded one. It's a company based in Israel called Bediuk Therapeutics. And so it's Shabbat there. So we had to record this ahead of time, but they've done a great job in our program and wanted to give them the opportunity here to share their story as well.
Next up, I'm excited to bring up Yaron from Bediuk Therapeutics. And Yaron, just a quick question before we get started is, I'd love to hear your experience from where you started with us in the breakthrough to where you are now. What have been some of the highlights for you?
Thank you. So I have a lot of experience in the biotech industry. I've been in it for many years. One of the things that I learned is that when you reach a certain point of excellency, for example, in how you present or how you see the way you do things, usually you get stuck there. One of the things that I felt during our work together is that it pushes you to the next level, meaning let's say I was 95% in terms of capabilities, and I'm 97 or 98, because this is the hardest part, right? To improve the already improved. So that's where it actually took us. The other thing was a very, very deep insight, which is don't wait for the money, which is something that I used to do before, but it's the first time that I was actually understanding that by aligning all the work so that the money is the only thing that holds you back is a much better strategy rather than wait for the money and then starts. And this is something that was discussed quite thoroughly during our workshop. And I think that was very, very helpful because it kind of puts the word and the definitions to something that I felt, but I never thought of before. So that really helped us, and that's where we are.
Amazing. Well, it's been great to work with you and exciting to see a high impact, high business opportunity here, and looking forward to having you present BDU Therapeutics to us and share how you're saving lives.
Great. So every minute, 2 people die of liver cancer. Hi, my name is Yaron, and I'm co-founder and COO of BDU Therapeutics, and we're transforming liver cancer treatment with a revolutionary therapeutic delivery. Why liver cancer? So liver cancer has over 1.3 million patients annually. It's a huge unmet need. It's the 5th most common cancer. It has an extremely high mortality rate. Unfortunately, my mother died of liver cancer many years ago, which is part of why I'm here today. The current therapies for liver cancer all suffer from low efficacy. It's basically more of the same for 30 years, which is an eternity. It's a regulatory-driven stagnancy, and patients constantly suffering. Now, the main therapy for liver cancer is TACE, transarterial chemoembolization, and basically it has low efficacy and terrible adverse effects. You can see here on the left is that TACE is actually a mix of blood vessel blocking beads together with chemotherapy injected through a catheter into the area where the tumor in the liver is. Now, TACE therapy doesn't really work. It's only 20% 5-year survival rate. And what TACE does is a permanent and full blood blockage, resulting in a poor drug delivery. You can see here in the image, the blood vessel blocking beads create a wall, and then much of the drug doesn't even reach the tumor. And this is exactly where we come in with Embopor. Embopor is a dual drug control delivery mechanism, and Embopor enables continuous blood flow and superior delivery. Now, Embopor are porous microspheres embedded with 2 drugs in its skeleton. And just like the other solutions, we also create a wall, but the pores in the microspheres enable trickle of blood into the tumor, and by that washing the drugs into the tumor for a long time. Now, in terms of merits, Embopor has many merits. The clinical ones include the fact that Dox and PLJ are FDA approved. TPZ is a well-known drug, so we know a lot on the efficacy and the safety of all the different components of Embopor. It's a precise, deeper penetration and reduced side effects. And not only that, it actually enables the interventional radiologist to reuse the same artery, something that is not available in any other therapy similar to local regional therapy today being done. In terms of regulatory, we are expecting to get both orphan drug and breakthrough therapy designations, which will help us in expediting the time to market, get an accelerated approval, increase our exclusivity time, and get higher reimbursement. The market of TACE was in 2023, $11 billion with 14% annual growth rate. And a few interesting facts on the market. First of all, there are 10 big pharma companies reaching their patent cliff. Of these 4 are actually in the fields of liver cancer. The Lancet Commission just defined liver cancer as a global threat, and that the key solution for liver cancer are TACE-like next generation local regional therapies, exactly what we're doing. Adding to that is the fact that more and more companies being bought by the big pharma after phase 1 led us to our business model, which is once we have our phase 1 readout, we want to go look into an M&A or an IPO opportunities for liver cancer. Nonetheless, because Embopor is also a delivery system, we can look into sub-licensing the technology to other indications in addition to that. Obviously, this is not where we stop. We move on to phase 2 for clinical trials and obviously to phase 3. It is a patent-protected technology. It's a highly valued technology. It received various grants, the Israel Innovation Authority, European Innovation Council, and we just received the Seal of Excellence from the European Commission. The team is a synergy of deep medical, scientific, and business development expertise, and we are agile. With $4 million, we plan to complete our phase 1 clinical readout and reach an increased valuation. And the reason you see this milestone in cost is that to show that every dollar coming into the company is immediately translated into the task required. We're raising $4 million in order to continue building our team, to continue working with our regulatory consulting teams, to start the manufacturing of Embopor, which we are about to select our vendor, to work with our preclinical studies on the pigs, and eventually reach our phase 1 clinical trial to be led by a CRO ran by Dr. Nadia Salvador, a very well-experienced CRO. And in addition to that, continue building our scientific advisory board, already quite significant, led by Professor Yaron Ilan, Professor Elazar Edelman from MIT Harvard, and Professor David Kelsen from Memorial Sloan Kettering, obviously with some additional people. And we welcome you to join us in transforming liver cancer therapy with Embopor, because we really see that we want to save lives, and we think that this is the way of doing it. Thank you very much.
All right, sounds good. Cool. I'll ask those one by one here. So, yeah, a great presentation. First question here is on the risk. Obviously, it's a huge opportunity. You're saving millions of lives, huge market as well. But how do you mitigate the risks of building out a technology and a drug development or drug delivery platform like this?
So we're looking at it from various angles. I think that the first one is the fact that we're using already known components, so that really reduces the risk. For example, a new molecule never tested in humans, probably a chance of 1 to 1,000 to be successful in humans, no matter which animal you tested it in. In our case, both drugs were already tested in humans in liver cancer, showing efficacy. So from that point of view, we're in a good place. In terms of the development, we're not playing games here, and we're not trying to cut corners. We made a very, very big effort, starting with about 12 different potential subcontractors to do the development for us. And of this, we narrowed it down to the best 2 selected candidates. And we're actually going to work with the best one, a US-based company that has all the former knowledge and experience with this kind of products, meaning microspheres, PLJ microspheres. They have a lot of experience. And that's why we're trying to reduce it by going to the best ones with the best information, the best experience, and with all the known know-how.
In other applications.
And obviously later on, it could be relevant for other applications, but that's not the risk. That's a different thing.
Right. How do you see, you are using known treatments, but you're using it in a delivery mechanism that's more effective. So how do you see this both, being marketed and competing in the market based on the current standard of care today?
Should I answer? So the thing is this, all the different solutions invented so far are doing one thing. They're separating between the drug and the beads as a medical device. Because of that, there is no good way to deliver the drugs. The other problem with all the other options is that they create a full blockage, which is permanent. What Professor Benny did when she invented this technology, she created a mechanism that basically disintegrates once it gets into the tumor area. And therefore, the drugs are actually contained in it until it reaches there, and then it starts to disintegrate, to degrade, and the drugs are being flowed into the tumor, and then eventually disappears. So in terms of being similar to the others, we are not using anything else. We are using exactly what's being done today with TACE. The big change is that, unlike everyone else, we realized that the problem is with the full blockage, which causes a lot of problems, including drug penetration. And by using this structure, which is physiochemical characteristics, we're actually solving that. Now, we just came back from the main liver cancer therapy conference in Scotland, and we see that there is no innovation in terms of trying to do something similar to ours, because we're disrupting it. Everybody is doing a medical device mixed with a drug just at the last minute before injection. We're creating a drug, which is a drug device product that solves everything at once.
Perfect. And my final question here is for Walter. So, Walter, you've been a serial successful entrepreneur, respected physician as well. What really drew you to working with your own and creating the BDU Therapeutics startup?
Yeah, so the first thing is that Yaron and I reviewed 10 technologies prior to this one, and it was a real thrill to work with Yaron in evaluating these technologies. He came up with fabulous insights, and it was a real synergy between the two of us in how we interacted together, and that made me so enthusiastic when we finally came with this most fabulous product that Professor Ofer Benny invented, that I knew we had a winning combination. And sure enough, we just won the European Commission award, showing potentially excellent technology. So
congratulations. Yeah, great
Thank
work
you.
on this amazing presentation, and I'm excited to share with our community here at the Breakthrough Summit.
Thank you very much.
So,
Thanks for the
so
opportunity.
yeah, that was the first graduate of our program here. This link is going to be the same. I'm going to show it after all the companies, but if you use this QR code, you can basically request connections either for investment conversations, for partner, for, you know, if you're able to help in any way. There's a couple different things. You can just put your interest in there and we'll make those connections for you. Perfect. And with that, I'd like to call up Jerry, who's our next presenter here with Flowell. And let me get your presentation up here, and excited to have you present. Down arrow to wherever you want.
Good afternoon, everybody. I'd like to introduce you to June Allison. She was an actress who was incontinent her whole life. And she actually, in her later life, became a spokesperson for Depends. But women who wear Depends are tied to them. Their lives are changed. They live with wetness. So we want to change all that. It's not working. Want to change that, get rid of those diapers, and use Flowell, which is the solution to urinary incontinence. And then we can treat women from 18 to 120 with a device. One of the things that, sorry,
You can get on. Get on. You're good.
I'm sorry. I didn't realize it was putting me on the screen as well. And so we have a device that can cure 750 million women and earn billions of dollars, a lot of which can go to the investors. And our tagline is, do well, invest in Flowell. So what's the problem? Leakage. It's called urinary incontinence. We treat a special kind, which is the most common, called stress incontinence, not psychological stress, which is there, but the mechanical stress of a sneeze, cough, or laugh, raising pressure in the abdomen, squeezing on the bladder, pushing urine out, and the urethra normally resists that, but if there's some damage, then it can't resist and she leaks. And it affects roughly 1 every 4 women worldwide. What's the solution? Block the leak. Instead of absorbing the leak after it comes out of the body and having smelly incontinence pads, we have a device that the doctor inserts in her urethra in the office, no surgery. On the lower left, you can see the urine passage. And when the woman sneezes, coughs, or laughs, the pressure on her urethra closes the device and closes the urine passage and blocks the leak. Because we want to change it out, we don't want any surgery. And so there's a bulge at one end called the retention feature. The device has an antimicrobial, and so it has to be replaced 3 times a year for life. And that provides a lot of revenue to the physician, but also saves the woman 120 hours a year of changing diapers. So the patient demand is high. We interviewed 80 incontinent women, 77 said they'd adopt our device. Physician demand is driven by money. There are existing reimbursement codes for physicians. Every time they swap out the device, they earn $500 to $1,000 per patient. And so the typical practice can increase their revenue by $500,000 to $1 million of new revenue per year, which is about 3 to 5 times what the gynecologist earns in salary. Strong motivation. We've got the right team to solve the problem. I'm a biomedical engineer. I'm a co-founder, co-inventor, and I act as the chief medical officer. And I've been working with incontinent women for 20 years with a previous company. I know what they go through. They tell me. And it's terrible. So I developed a deep empathy for them. And when Sherry came along with an idea for a device, we started working together and eventually produced this device. We've also added on a chief development officer, Bob Sherman, and a real genius in mechanical engineering, Neil Marshall. We've done early feasibility studies, and the clinical data is for leakage. Before we have the device in the patient, lots of leaking. Put the device in the same patient, Zippo, very little leaking. Another concern is does the device stay in place? After all, it just relies on that bulge. And so we measure where it is. And during our provocative tests that make the woman leak, it moved 1/100 of an inch. Women investors were concerned about what happened during sexual intercourse. So we had to do simulated intercourse with the vaginal dilator. And again, hardly any movement. Now, subjectively, we asked the women, is this comfortable? And we set a scale of 1 to 5, where 1 is like, get this thing out of me right now. And 5 is, what device? Where? And so the average score was 4.7. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on use of funds. We've already raised $401,000 from friends and family and doctors and patients. And our next step in the process is getting through the FDA. And they require a clinical trial, and that costs about $3 million altogether. So that's what we're raising right now. But then once we have FDA data submitted, it takes them about 8 months to review the data and give you permission to start sales. We're not going to go twiddle our thumbs for 8 months. We're going to hire regional sales managers and have them out there with the distributor salespeople in the doctor's offices, teaching them how to use our device. Bring along a rubber woman that they can insert the device into that woman's urethra. Again, all legal, all educational. And the result is that as soon as we get FDA clearance, we have customers right there. We don't have to develop the market. It's already developed. The revenue increases because we take the approach of taking it easy. We're going to start off with regions of 60 million people, 2 in the US, 2 in Europe. So 4 regions when we first get FDA approval, which is in about 2 years. Next year, we double the number of regions and revenue jumps up. The third year, we finish out all 12 regions in the US and Europe. And then we ask large companies to continue the process. So we've spoken to strategics, and they will take our product from Europe and the US to Asia, Australia, every place where there are women. So our call to action is to ask for the money to do the clinical trial. We're asking $3 million now so we can do the FDA clinical trial. We have a product ready for the trial. We have a good return on investment. There's a company just like ours that treats a different kind of incontinence to women, and they had 30-year sales the same as ours, and they were just bought for $3.8 billion. So we'll be bought for about $3.3 billion, providing a very high return for investors. So our motto again, do well, invest and flow well.
Great. Great job. Yeah, any questions from the audience? Yeah, we got one in the back.
Do you have this device for men, only for women?
That's a consistent question we always get. The anatomy of the female urethra is very different from the anatomy of the male urethra. And men get incontinent or stress incontinent only after prostate surgery. But the percentage of men that actually gets that is so low that the market is almost abysmally low. But we know that 95% of investors are men, so to please them, we'll be developing the male device after we get the female device on the market.
Second question. What's the linkage to control this 100% effectivity?
So I'm having trouble hearing.
It
Was it an efficacy question?
The device, what's effective with this linkage control? If you use a linkage for woman.
Saying how much leakage
How-
does it contain?
how much leak-
100% or 90 and above?
How much leakage does it contain?
Oh, well, one patient was a martial arts instructor who leaked 38 milliliters of urine without the device. With the device, she leaked 0.
0. Thank you.
Tony, did you have a question?
Yeah, a good friend of mine, as Jared and I chatted before this, was in the same space. And he seemed to have struggled quite mightily to get these reimbursement codes from Medicare. For any devices, I guess that's always a hurdle. I wonder whether you can share some thoughts on sort of reimbursement codes issues.
They're already, sorry, going the wrong way. How would go backwards? Sorry, I had a slide. There it is.
Oh, perfect.
All right, so these codes are called CPT codes, and they already exist. And they already are paid. Not just paid by the government, by Medicare, but they're paid by all these insurers, Blue Cross Blue Shield, United Health, Cigna Health, Anthem, Geisinger Health, et cetera, et cetera. The device that you're talking about is a rigid tube in the urethra that's very uncomfortable. And so it doesn't fit into a regular reimbursement code.
Yeah, so the existing is on the monthly reimbursement, I guess. So yours will reduce that to 3 times a year, which is tremendous, sounds.
Yeah.
Very interesting solution. I'm curious, what is the procedure for insertion and removal in the office? And where within the urethra, where do you actually end up putting it anatomically? How easy is it to place and remove it?
Glad you asked. This is a device. You can see the blue part is a device, and it goes in an insertion tool called the introducer. It was designed by the State Department to diplomatically introduce the device to the urethra. And what it does is this part here is the retention feature normally that goes inside of this tube. So it's very easy to find the urethra. You part the labia and the urethral orifice right there. So you insert this, and this large surface prevents it from going in too far. And so this distance is the distance to the mid-urethra. So you don't have to guess, it's done automatically. And then once you have it in, then you put your fingers on these little wings. They're connected to this outer tube, and this is what happens. So it just leaves it behind in the urethra. And there's a string on this one, but there's a little loop on the one that goes in the clinic. And to remove it, you sort of put a very dull hook in and grab the loop and pull it right out.
Perfect. Awesome. Yeah, great job. Link back up for anybody to connect further here. Here we go. Yeah, if you want to connect with Jerry, it's the same link I put up before. And then we're gonna go to our next presentation is Ada. So I'll stop sharing here, and Shiv, if you want to share your screen and present the Ada opportunity. All right, there we go. All right, Shiv, we're ready. Oh, you're still on mute.
Hi, Jason. Am I audible?
Yep, perfect.
Awesome, great. Okay, so
Can you turn it down a little?
I know.
It's sorted.
okay, Jason, can we get started?
Yeah. You're good
Okay,
to go.
great. Awesome. All right. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Dr. Shiv. I'm the founder and CEO of IDA. I have my co-founder, Girish, out here. When I said doctor, I'm not a medical doctor like our cohort friends spoke just now. I'm a management doctorate who has come with a AI orchestrator engine here, which we call it as IDA. So the context behind IDA. A lot of AI tools are there in the market now. We all enjoy using AI tools. We say wow when we just look at any AI output. But one thing repeatedly happens is none of these AI tools are delivering on an outcome. Most of it does some work and wait for us to get intervene into it, and then things have to move. For example, if I want to really do a blog, I can go to Copy AI and ask for content, and Copy AI gives great content. But post that, I need to think about if I have to put some images, where do I go? I go to Canva, look for some good images, make some titles, and so on and so forth. Then I need to log into my WordPress site or a Wix site to publish this. Right? There's a lot of work. Though it sounds like content is available in plenty, but doing a blog takes a lot of time and intervention by the humans. And that is where we think there is a missing layer in the AI world, the orchestration layer, right? And that is where IDA plays an important role in orchestrating different agents, deciding when to call which agent and how to really deliver on the outcomes. For lesser models like me, who still love their comic books, this is how it pans out. On the left, you can see the person really struggling with the prompts, thinking about how do I really ensure that great quality is delivered, and how to stitch all these things together. Which are the outputs coming from different AI agents. But on the right side, you have IDA, which kind of orchestrates in one seamless way. That's exactly where we play. For more sophisticated souls like my co-founder Girish, who are in the room, who want to really see how this works and how the architecture looks like, you have a IDA vault, and in the vault you have a bunch of AI agents which are sitting there, and you have an orchestrator which kind of brings all these things together and delivers on the outcome. On the right side, if you look at it, the outcome could be anything. It could be a blog, it could be submitting tenders. It could be also going, crawling across the web and submitting the investor pitches to the investor sites. Anything can be done with multiple different agents playing a role, and the orchestrator playing the key area of giving the context and ensuring things happen. So the first step, we just launched a first use case on the platform. We leveraged IDA to deliver what we call it as IDAJet. IDAJet delivers great, stunning newsletters, which happens with about 7 different agents being orchestrated, which includes a scheduler AI, a section AI, creator AI, which kind of curates all the content, and the heat maps AI, which kind of analyzes, which section people are looking into. So this way, we are able to demonstrate that this particular platform is being put to use using this particular use case. And this is where we go. The early, outcome is pretty promising. The kind of registrations, we talk about 2,100 people who have already registered on the platform across 15 different geographies, which kind of shows its global applicability, and the demand is huge. People look for results. People do not look for simple, quick answers and content and so on and so forth. That is what we understood with this. Where we are playing in this AI as a service as a market, which is a $91 billion market. And we are targeting, our initial ICPs is to go after the startups and the small businesses and the creators who are looking for assistance, who have lesser resources at their disposal. Where we play in terms of competition, initially we have something like Zapier to orchestrate different platforms together. And with the advent of AI, we saw N8N or Make.com coming into play, which kind of creates the workflows. But these are primarily meant for techies, and only large enterprises are using it. And IDA is the first one of its kind, which kind of helps deliver orchestration to the end customers who can, any business user can really use it. And that is where IDA plays its role. And our traction so far, we have founded this company in 2023, and we are 100K in revenue last year. And we raised a family and friends round a year back. And that is how we have worked on IDA in delivering it last quarter. So our projection starts from about 200K in the first year and goes on to about $20 million by improving the ARPU on an ongoing basis by bringing different use cases. Initially, it will start about 250 to 300, then it grow up to 1,000. Thereby, we can achieve our numbers. We are kind of going to market through the community mode, and we have already been registered with a lot of online forums, which drives traffic to our website, and thereby we are getting all the inbound conversions. Our revenues come primarily from subscription, which is a product-led growth model. And right now it is more month-on-month basis. And going forward, we are also thinking about outcome basis and things like that, which are still under experimentation. We have 20% revenue coming from the service packs as well. This is the team, myself and Girish, both of us are here, and our vision is to simplify the complex. And we lived this whole pain in our corporate world. We know, coordination sucks. It takes a lot of time out from people, and that is what we are set out to solve here. We are raising $1 million, and 40% of the money goes into the go-to-market, into expanding into the markets in US and other places, and 30% goes into development. And that is where we are right now. And I'm more than happy to interact with you. Look forward to great partners, investors, and collaborators from here. Any questions?
Perfect. Any questions?
Shiv, thank you. Girish, thank you. Are you both in Lucknow right now? One of you?
Oh, in what? Sorry.
Are you in Lucknow right now?
Are you in Lucknow?
No. We are in Bangalore right now. Yeah.
Where are you?
Bangalore.
Not Lucknow. Bangalore.
I know that part of the world well. That's why I'm asking. Question for you. If you're thinking about model context protocol, Claude taught us a few things 2 or 3 weeks back, which is an integration of AI tools that is automated by AI, which controls desktop, which controls other AI. How do you position Ada, just over the things that we learned in the last 3 to 5 weeks about AI, in acquiring market share, people paying for it actually, rather than either if it's jive coding or anything else for that matter, also in the context of AI? I'd love to hear 60 seconds on that.
Cool. So did you get that, or do you want me to repeat?
Okay, so there's a lot of work happening in that space, what we are hearing. And these are primarily AI for technology folks, right? And the orchestration engine is still emerging, and it kind of works for the techies, and the techies has to put together a complete workflow and deliver it for a particular use case. And this works perfectly when it comes to enterprise, and both the techie side, who's the supply side of it, and the techie and the enterprise folks who are the consumers here are pretty happy about it. But when it comes to the small businesses, the startups, or the creators who want an out-of-box use case to work for them in a AI as a service mode or a SaaS mode, that is where we are playing. So we understand this market. We know where we stand from vis-a-vis competition. And still we are not seeing a competition which is exactly doing what we are doing. When we look at something like Make.com, they have built some use cases as well. But if you look at it, it looks more like Zapier. It kind of connects 2 or 3 different tools which are already existing in the market. That is not what we are doing. We are talking about delivering a specific use case which is properly pre-built, which can be used by anyone who signs up from day one.
Thank you.
Great. Tony.
This is a pretty cool technology. I actually struggled a little bit using different SaaS products and have it work seamlessly. It just takes me a lot of time. I think you solve for that problem, which is fantastic. My question to you is, how do you know these large language models wouldn't come up with something like this native, and they can overnight solve for the similar problems in different verticals? What's your moat against these very well, financially sponsored players?
That's a great question. We don't know what we don't know. Let's be clear about that. But the LLMs are solving problems which are much more generic in nature at a very, very high level, right? But what we are going after is the application side of the market, the functional depth that is required to deliver. For example, when we built IdaJet to deliver great newsletters, we also leverage LLMs. It's not that we are completely doing everything from the scratch. But when we are leveraging the LLMs, we understand that the LLMs fall short when it comes to the domain knowledge. LLMs work on the available data on the internet, which tells a certain amount of information about what to do and when to do. But as a practitioner, one looks at it, the kind of nuances which needs to be monitored is very different. So when we built our model, our moat is our ML learns from the users who are actually using the product, not the data which is sitting on Google. So that is the primary difference, the pivot. So to answer your question, there are two ways we mitigate this risk. Number one, we leverage the LLMs, on certain things which it does really well. And then we train our models on the user's behavior in the product, within the product, And the context change, the situations change, and the users keep changing their ways of doing things. And this is a lot for an LLM to really handle at this point in time.
Perfect. Any other questions? Cool. All right, great job.
Thank you, Jason.
Thank you.
Thank you for giving this slot, and
you.
We are really enjoying the ride. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Have a good day. Yeah.
Yeah, let me push back up. Our presentation here. So this is, if you want to connect with Ada, same link here. And excited to call up Yulia as our next presenter from Skin Genius. And here's your deck. We go full screen. And you have it down. But I'm sorry.
Oh, God. Okay.
A lot of static.
Getting shocked. A lot. Okay. Oh, well. Hi, everyone. My name is Yulia, and I'm the founder of Skin Genius. I cannot tell you enough how hard it is to pitch a skincare business to an audience of men, but it's a try. So have any of you ever walked into a Sephora or some sort of a beauty store and been completely overwhelmed with what you saw? All of those. Oh, sorry. Okay. All of those lines of bottles with the mists and serums and toners all promising immediate results to you or the significant other for whom you're buying that product. And since you have no idea what to buy, you just grab whatever you last seen on TikTok or Instagram or whatever you get your information from. And you bring it home and you put it to your face or give it to somebody and they put it on your face. And you wake up in the morning and your face is all red or broken out, or God forbid you use it for a month and nothing happens. So you go back to the store and you grab another bottle, this time a more expensive one, because we're made believe that the more expensive product is better, right? Or you buy two products because two is better than one, right? We live in a world where we're exposed to marketing everywhere we go. We get exposed to 4,000 pieces of marketing throughout the day. And we have to make 35,000 teeny tiny decisions just to get through the day. And here you are standing in front of that aisle, making just one more decision. The problem is that as a human, you're going to buy at least 4 moisturizers just to find the one that's going to fit your skin. And a typical skincare routine is 3 products at least, plus the sunscreen to protect your face when you go out. So by the time you build that combination of products, you will have wasted at least $180 searching, testing on your skin. And that's only if you go to CVS to buy your products. If you shop luxury, you can easily multiply that by 5 times. That's why we built Skin Genius, a solution that helps you find the right combination of products specifically for you. It takes into account your allergies, sensitivities, where you eat, what you eat, where you live, what you're exposed to. It helps you make less decisions buying skincare and looking your best, at least in your face. So how it works, you download the app, you take a skin quiz, you share information with the algorithm about everything I've told about before. And then our backend algorithms analyze your skin information and peruse through thousands of skincare ingredients to find the ones that are going to work specifically for you. Then the algorithms find the products that contain those ingredients, match them to you, and match them to one another to make sure that the combo that we provide to you is the right fit, that's going to solve your problems, that's going to save you money. And once it gets shipped to you, if you say, yes, I want it shipped to my door, you get it shipped. And when summer comes, we're going to automatically update your routine so it takes into account the change in the weather. You're probably wondering, is there anybody else who's already building it? The answer is yes. There is a ton of companies that scan products, ingredient checkers so-called, And one of those pops up on App Store at least once a week, powered by OpenAI. Well, we're different. We also scan, we also check, but we also help you make that decision. Make sure that the final combo is the right fit, not only for you one by one, but also together. And we also know exactly how concentrations are calculated, and we know exactly how scores are produced. Is there money in beauty? Of course, there's money in beauty. It's growing. Personalized beauty alone is worth $40 billion today. But there is one particular segment that I find pretty interesting because it's growing at a 25% compound growth rate a year. And that's the personalized beauty boxes. So how a beauty box works is you sign up for a beauty box, you pay a standard fee, and you get a box of random products shipped to your door every few months. So they're very small products, but you get to use them and to try them. They're not really personalized to you because they ship whatever's available to you, from the warehouse. But it's a pretty amazing model because a regular beauty box company serves anywhere between 250,000 to 4.5 million people. And if we with Skin Genius are able to capture at least 100,000 users in the first year, second year, at $100, they pay us per box, shipped to them 6 times a year, every 2 months. So that's pretty much how long a typical skincare product lasts, about 2 months. That brings us to $9 million of annual revenue at 15% margin. So the 15% margin comes from our conversations with our existing partners. That's as much revenue as they're willing to give up to be listed on the platform and be sold to our customers. And we have the team to deliver. We bring in decades of experience in skincare formulation, aesthetics, cosmetology, coming from our vast network of advisors. And I myself am a marketer and a partnerships person. I built 2 nonprofits before, both operational, supplying aid to Ukraine for 4 years. My co-founder is a software engineer and architecture designer. We've been doing it for 1.5 years now. Our product is on the market. You can download it from App Store. We have 300 active users using our checker app. We are in the process of launching our routine recommendations. So that's the beta that's coming. We're also launching a paid version of the app. We've secured a small grant from the government of Rutland in Vermont to help us fund our journey to the state. I'm not here asking for money. I'm actually here to ask for feedback and advice. And please download the app, provide your feedback to me so we can make it usable for you, not only for women. You probably know that a lot of products are designed with women in mind first, and then they're designed for men as well. Maybe you tag along and want to try it, We want it to be inclusive for everyone. If you know of any skincare brands or manufacturers, I would love to talk to you. I'd like some intros so we can add them to the platform and recommend them to our customers. And of course, if you'd like to try the routine builder, I encourage you to sign up for the waitlist using the QR code. And that's it. It's been a pleasure presenting Skin Genius to you all. Thanks so much.
I think this is a great presentation. I love the slides. They're simple, easy to follow, and also you collect a lot of proprietary data from individual consumers. I think that's super valuable. You can that's value in itself, and that's a moat because it's not something people can find from using ChatGPT. But my question is, this is a consumer-facing product.
It is.
And a big part of growing a business like that, it calls for a lot of capital to make the market know about your product. What's your marketing plan and the strategy to roll it out to gain traction and adoption?
So since my background is partnerships and we don't have a ton of marketing budget, we're doing a lot of guerrilla marketing, like legit going to student organizations, groups on Reddit, chatting people up, understanding what they're interested in, and building that customer base step by step. So the biggest piece is understanding who people follow, like where do they go for advice. Some of the things that I've heard building this is a lot of people buy what their friends buy. So some of them buy what an influencer buys, but based on what we've tested so far, influencers are not the way in, because we're actually trying to do what the opposite of influencers do. I don't want you to buy stuff that an influencer said is good, because it's good for them and it's good for their pocket. It's not necessarily good for you. So for us, it's a matter of connecting with people individually, connecting with people through communities they're part of, and also connecting with brands who already have a network of people to whom they sell. But in that way, we can use their networks to reach to a larger audience of people.
Can you talk a little bit about revenue streams? I hear that there's more than one way to do something, I would imagine.
Yes,
Can you talk about that a little bit?
Yes, absolutely. So the first one is the one that I mentioned, is the beauty box. The second one, we also have a piece that's already operational, and that's a product skin. So right now it's free. We're planning to release a paid version with some more features there. So we'll have a paid version. So it's a subscription. If you don't want to get your routine shipped to you, you can pay for a subscription and go search for it yourself. Check products. We see a lot of people actually checking what they have at home and what they shop. The subscription is next. There are also a few opportunities in the B2B space, because we know that Sephora is actively buying out companies. They're doing recommendations. They bought, I think a year and a half ago, they bought a company that recommends foundations, like makeup, to people based on their skin shape. That's a Polish company. So that's another one. Recommendations are a big deal. And because we not only collect what a person tells us, we're also asking them what works for you. So we collect all of the history. With that history, we are also exploring some partnerships. We have one pilot coming up with estheticians, because they're the ones who are interested in what the person used before. They're the ones who are interested in building that relationship. And as a human being, using a piece of paper, I don't know who else have been to an esthetician recently. They use like pen and paper to record their information. So having that history stored somewhere is also valuable. So there are a ton of things.
Are you thinking about, if I may, just a follow-up very briefly, are you thinking of a data play there as well, going back to the biopharma companies as well?
Do you mean like if we
You're
are
capturing all that user data, which I'm sure there's a lot of people on the B2B side that are interested in your user data. Are you monetizing that?
Not yet, but the plan is, yes, we're definitely not going to sell anybody's personal data anywhere, but the aggregated data, I think it will help skincare, like beauty product manufacturers, understand what people are actually using and like, so they can change what they're offering. Yes, so that.
All right, thank you.
Perfect. All right, great job. And I'll put back up here we go. This is the link again to connect with Yulia. And next up, we're going to have 360 Solar. So Paul and Brian, I'll invite you up. I'll stop sharing here. And yeah, if you want to unmute, share your screen, and looking forward to having you present.
Yeah. Assume you can all see my screen there. I'm going to let Paul kick us off here.
Perfect. Paul, you're on mute. If you want to unmute and kick us off.
Is that better?
There we go.
Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, we can hear you.
One second.
Oh, perfect.
All right. That better?
Yeah, that's good.
All right, great. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you very much for attending the conference today. Thank you, Jason, as well, for taking the time. This is a fabulous forum for everyone. Gentlemen, my name is Paul Hobbs. Let me say, in 2017, there were 445 people that climbed to the summit of Mount Everest. In 2017, there were only 2 American electric mobility companies that opened an office in China, one of which was my company, the other of which was Tesla. I was appointed to the Trade Promotion Center in Shenzhen, China, in 2017, and had an opportunity to view and approve the first Model X that Elon brought and opened his office there in China. Today, I represent 3 public companies, 1 private company, and I would I am so happy and excited to present today 360 Solar, represented here today by Mr. Brian Roth. We are jointly releasing a private placement memorandum scheduled for the middle of February, whereby we are seeking a minimum investment of $25,000, maximum of $6 million. This will allow for us to continue our development of our solar towers. This is an exciting, game-changing technology that received a patent in September of 2024, and we have successfully marketed this technology throughout the world. Mr. Roth has located projects in multiple countries, and we are now focused on North America. The technology will be best explained by Mr. Brian Roth, who is here today. However, I can say that we have presented this technology this week for consideration to electrify the high-speed train that is now on the drawing board and is actually being executed in the state of California. We believe that is the very best solution for the state of California to electrify the rail. Innovation, our technology represents the ultimate innovation in solar electric generation. And we believe that it also closes the innovation gap in solar electricity generation as well as energy storage. We believe that this is the future. Jamal Talapatia yesterday indicated that Tesla will be the hub in which the vertical integration of SpaceX, XAI, and Tesla will, in fact, proliferate solar arrays in our universe, our solar universe, within the next 10 to 15 years. So there's a very good chance that we will be receiving our electric from outer space in our lifetime. Our solar tower is located here on terra firma. You will have never seen this technology before, but we will show it to you. And it will be something that we will all experience because it is fantastic. So Brian, I'm going to let you take over from here. And please share.
Thanks. Thanks very much, Paul. Really, real pleasure to be here with everybody today and have the opportunity to present this technology to you. As Paul said, my name is Brian Roth. I'm the CEO of 360 Solar. We are the first in the world to develop a vertical deployment of solar technology. I'm going to walk you through a little bit of the technology here today, some information about our team and where we're at, market overview, and the progress we've made on commercialization. So 360 Solar, as I said, is the first company to design a commercial solar tower. We were founded in Kelowna, which is about 4 hours from Vancouver, Canada, and we're headquartered in Vancouver, where I'm based. But we've been commercializing the towers around the globe. So we've been working with partners in the United States, Canada, the Caribbean, parts of Africa, as well as parts of Europe. So I'm very excited about the reach that we already have and the opportunities that we're developing in the marketplace. So what is a solar tower? Our founder, Peter Sherba, came from a background of electrical contracting. And in doing electrical contracting, some of the work that he had done was on installation of traditional solar fields, the fields that spread out over acres and acres of land, use up all the space and don't leave any room for other commercial activities, whether that be farming, growth, housing, whatever else that you might want to use the land for, in areas where you want to utilize the power that's generated by the solar. So he set out and worked with myself and a team of engineers to develop the first vertical solar tower. It uses 85% less land to deploy the equivalent nameplate solar installation. So where 1 megawatt of of solar on a traditional solar farm can take as much as 5 acres of land. We can do it in 2,500 square feet. That's not true. We can do a single tower in 2,500 square feet, and it would take 4 of them to deploy a megawatt. So it's a dramatic decrease in the land that's required to deploy the same amount of power, and allows you to commercialize the land around it, and make sure that you're capitalizing on all of the economic opportunities you have in any given space. It's got some additional designs integrated into it to optimize stack effect airflow effect, essentially the chimney effect going up the inside of the tower. It works to actively cool down the panels, and solar panels can operate up to 15% more efficiently, generate 15% more power when they're operating at cooler temperatures. So when you think about solar out in the desert or out in hot spaces, parts of California, Arizona, Nevada, New Mexico, Texas, those are all places where the towers can operate more efficiently simply because they've got a natural cooling effect without any mechanical fans or moving parts or anything to integrate. They're also very easy to maintain. When you've got the vertical panels, you don't get contaminants that end up sitting on the panel and decreasing the performance, like snow and dust. And if you receive any rain at all, the vertical solar panels actively clean themselves just by rinsing and sloughing any of the dust and dirt that does get on them straight off. And so you don't have to be out in the field doing active cleaning, 3 to 4 or 5 times a year, depending on where you're at. We've had this demonstration that you can see in the image here up in Kelowna for since 2022, and we haven't had to do a single active cleaning on it, and there's been no performance loss that whole time. And as I said before, no moving parts also means limited maintenance of the whole system. With the tower itself, you can also integrate other things into it. You can, as Paul said, you can put battery storage right inside the base or on the same site because you've saved that land space. We've also been in discussions with several telcos to talk about adding telecommunications equipment to the top of it and utilizing these for remote telecom sites, which I'll talk about a little more in a minute. And as Paul also said, some of the technical aspects of the tower have now received patents. So we've got a US patent that we received in 2024. We received patent protection in Canada in 2025, in Africa in 2025 as well. And our patent application in the EU is still proceeding and on track. We expect to receive it in 2026. A little bit about the team. I'm the CEO. I've got 20 years of experience, mostly in the energy space, everything from building energy to energy recovery and HVAC, and the last almost a decade in the renewable energy space. I'm both an engineer and an MBA and an accountant, so I've worn a lot of hats in a lot of different roles over my career, and certainly bring commercialization on new products to bear at 360. Our founder, Peter Sherba, as I said, was first and foremost an electrical contractor, but is now also a serial entrepreneur with a number of successes under his belt. Then we received financial support from Austin Thornbury as our CFO, who's got a bunch of experience in the capital markets and has helped a lot in the funding that we've done to date. And I'm looking forward to working with Paul on continuing our funding moving forward. So just an overview, we are headquartered in Vancouver. We've already located fabrication partners in North America, as well as Africa, Europe, and Asia. And we've got active sales markets in North America, the Caribbean, Africa, the Middle East, and Asia. I'm truly excited about our expansion across the globe to date and looking forward to seeing it all come to fruition. The market in general is massive and growing. I mean, solar farm construction was over $70 billion in 2020, and it continues to grow even as we face some political headwinds over the last few years. But even in that, what we're seeing is as federal support declines during administration changes and other things, we've seen a lot of state support continue to grow the industry. A perfect example of that is that battery storage projects in Texas have never been bigger than they are today. And so I am very confident that the industry is going to continue to grow and continue to provide opportunities for us moving forwards. Simply put, there's no shortage of demand for power in the future. And we're going to need to find every possible avenue to provide it, from renewables to traditional sources. I truly believe in a mix. In terms of market segments, I mentioned before, local community solar is something that we can do. When you look at homeowners associations and others that have put restrictions and limits on perhaps solar roofing and other things, putting a tower in a neighborhood to supply, a single tower can supply as many as 10 homes with the power that they need. And so interspersing these through communities can provide a big benefit. Remote telecom is a huge one for us. Adding the telecommunications equipment on the top of the tower and battery storage in the bottom of the tower, and then the solar panels up the sides, allows you to not only dual purpose the tower, but dual purpose your capital costs. And so we've had extensive communications with one of the national telecom providers in Canada, and we've had some early stage communications with a couple of them in the US, and gotten a lot of traction. We're well down the path of a specifically designed tower for telecom purposes, and I think that's going to be a rapidly growing market for us. Land scarce communities like islands, as I said, we're working in Jamaica, we're working in Hawaii, where they've got a scarcity of land and growing demand for power. This is a great fit. And then agriculture and ranching is another one. I've said several times that allowing people to fully utilize the economic opportunity of their land without just covering it with traditional panels is a big opportunity for us. So on the sales pipeline, we are still pre-commercial in terms of revenue generation, but we have made a lot of traction in terms of we've got signed MOUs on multiple projects in the US that are currently sourcing their project funding. And so we're helping them with that. And one of the things that Paul and I are planning to put a full push on once we raise this money is assisting those partners in helping them find their project capital. We've also got verbal confirmation that projects are going to move forwards, both in North America and the Caribbean and Africa, and we're in discussion on a lot more. Ultimately, we've got almost $250 million in our sales pipeline that we believe we're going to be able to pursue over the next 3 to 4 years. So there's a big opportunity here, and there's a lot of path forward for us on commercializing these solar towers and seeing them roll out around the globe. With that, I know we're coming up on time, so I'm going to allow the opportunity for anybody to ask any questions that you've got for myself or Paul. And thanks again for having us.
Perfect. Yeah, great presentation. Question over here.
So is there an ask? Are you raising?
Yeah, Paul, Paul mentioned that at the start. Do you want to cover that again, Paul?
Yes. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can.
Yeah.
Yes. We will have the middle of February, which is just a week or so away, we will have a private placement memorandum available. Minimum investment is $25,000, maximum $6 million. The raise is for $6 million.
What are the terms?
The terms are convertible, preferred shares, convertible, 1 preferred share to 2 common, and converted at the issuance of our IPO, S1, which would be within 12 to 18 months maximum.
Yeah, so Paul has a OTC public company that's basically merging with 360 Solar with this private placement deal that they're putting together. Tony, do you have a question?
This is a quite an ingenious design. It might even help, even though you didn't see that as a potential market, to solve current data center expansion and energy problem. So this can be a pretty good solution to that. My question to you guys is the unit economics. What's the cost, given the fact that government subsidies have been taken away? What's the cost per kilowatt hours for you to generate using this new technology?
Yeah, I can speak to that. In terms of the cost per kilowatt hour, it will necessarily vary depending on where you put it because of obviously different levels of production. If you're in a particularly sunny, dry spot like somewhere in Arizona versus where I live in Vancouver, we're going to get a lot less production. However, you're going to see the same thing with traditional solar as well. In terms of a dollars per watt of installation, of installed power, we are a premium. And that premium will vary a little bit depending on volume, but the biggest driver of that is the steel structure itself of the tower and making it strong enough to support the weight of the panels and wind loading in situ. That premium is typically in the 40 to 50% range that we're seeing over traditional ground mount solar when you ignore the cost of the land and the opportunity cost of doing other economic purposes with the land. That said, when we get into some of these discussions with the telecoms, for example, dual purposing the tower, adding a telecom up top and battery storage allows them, for example, to downsize the diesel generators they're typically putting at these remote sites and reduce the operations and maintenance costs. And their break even on a traditional tower with diesel generators and operations is less than 3 years to go to a tower like ours. And then, of course, the lifetime benefits of that give them better economics all the way. Same thing when we talk to farmers and ranchers who simply can't give up their land, but do have power needs directly on site. So there for sure is a business case. That said, this will not completely replace traditional solar because if you just need to produce as much power as you possibly can, as cheaply as you possibly can, you will still find open acres of land and do it the traditional way.
Thank you. All right, great job.
Thanks very much.
All right, right on schedule for our final, or first I'll put up interest sheet to connect with 360 Solar, and then we'll move to our final presentation. Olivier with RAG Metrics, and I'll stop sharing so you can open up, share your screen, and take it away. Let's see, Olivia, ready to present?
Oh, there it is.
Hey guys, how are you?
Good, how are you?
Cool. Sorry not being here present, but hello from sunny Miami and happy to meet you all, Let me get in first. So my presentation, just 1 second. Yeah, that means I work a lot. Very nice to meet you all. So I'm the CEO of a company called RAG Metrics, which we call the AI Trust Layer. Please forgive my French accent because I come from France originally. I live in Miami, and after 13 years in the US, I still don't speak like an American. What RAG Metrics is, so we are the trust layer that turns Gen AI uncertainty into measurable intelligence and giving the enterprise the confidence to deploy Gen AI at scale. we know that every business suffers when AI cannot be trusted. And there are two categories of problems that we're trying to solve here. The Gen AI tools error hallucinates and they demand perfection. We've seen several cases in different industries, like an Air Canada chatbot defeated in court after a chatbot lies about policies, or an NYC city government chatbot that advises small business how to break the law, which is not really great as a use. Over 87% of the AI project don't make it to production. So this is a known fact that we've seen through different studies in McKinsey and everywhere. And we know that enterprises cannot really trust Gen AI outputs. The problem there is when they're trying to do something about it, they use human in the loop, which are slow, expensive, and biased. And then hallucination rates keeps on being, errors keeps on being, and compliance risk and exposure is still happening. What the consequence of all of that is a loss of time, loss of money, and reputation for companies. What we offer, so RAGmetrics turns Gen AI outputs into measurable intelligence. That makes companies gaining confidence to deploy AI at scale. We do live AI evaluation for AI agents and chatbots with real-time correction. So under a second, we're able to correct a response from an AI agent that doesn't correspond to a metrics that we offer inside the system. We do evaluation, reasoning, accuracy, bias, and all the business-specific metrics you can imagine. Where we are very good is we are offering a high level of accuracy through a human level agreement, meaning that evaluation that the platform does agree at 95% with humans. What are the benefits of what we offer is we accelerate the product release by 100 and we automate testing. We reduce risk by increasing product quality and continuous improvement. And by all these consequences, we make AI available to a larger extent with the trust layer being there, always protecting people against harmful response or responses which are not good. So we drive trust and we minimize error. What the product does. So the product is a SaaS solution for enterprise and SMB. It is also a software subscription because it can be deployed into a private cloud or inside a on-prem system. And it's an evaluation engine which goes through the entire life cycle of an AI agent. So when the AI agent is being coded, we're here to help people measure performance, whether they choose foundational model A, B, or C, or if they choose prompt A, B, or C, or if they choose vector database A, B, or C, or retrieval strategy. We're able to quantify, on millions of data points, how the quality of AI varies when you make those choices. We do then live AI evaluation, so the same metrics criteria we used when we are evaluating pre-hoc, we use them live hoc. So under a second, we are able to do multiple measure data points and correct the trajectory if needed. And we can do multiple evaluation models for faster response and customization. We have our own small language model now that allows to go uberly fast into evaluation. We enable people to create synthetic data label. Our evaluation engine sits between the evaluation criteria and the synthetic data label. And then we provide those evaluation reports all the time. And we connect to the customer pipeline or AI agent or Gen AI application. And we have a closed evaluation loop. How do we position in the market? So it's a market where you see a lot of people are trying to get there because the problem is real and the market is sizable. It's very big. It's everyone that does Gen AI, conversational AI agents. We've seen a lot of observability tool coming in the market. So all these companies like Galileo, BrainTrust, Langsmith, Petronas AI, Arise, Future AGI, they all come from the observability world and trying to get to evaluation. No one is really a full end-to-end enterprise-grade evaluation and monitoring platform. No one really allows to do real-time criteria evaluation with feedback to the AI agent and allows that depth of evaluation when it comes to customer-specific domain benchmarks. So our go-to-market plan, the go-to-market is to be able to serve a lot of different verticals. So the problem is it's a very horizontal product and the problem is everywhere. So we are trying to go through use cases. So deep evaluation processes, accelerate AI agent deployment while increasing output accuracy. And the target market is enterprise and individual AI agent developers. And here we're trying to get to that use case of really trying to measure everything that customer can imagine. Real-time evaluation, so having the immediate feedback of an AI agent, and we are going to mission critical environments, mission critical AI agents. Right now we are focusing on retail because we know that customer service chatbots are messing around. So the promise of Salesforce and Zendesk and Intercom and all these big companies have been full of mistakes. So we're trying to convince them to go and try to sort it out with us. But then you have finance, healthcare. I mean, there's a lot of different verticals. Custom metrics, which is very important. And for that, we adapt evaluation process to customer needs. So regulated, heavily compliance market industries with specific needs and control points, and an AI agent with specific purpose. So we are able to go very, very specific. Where we are right now, we've been recognized by IDC as the MarketScape GenAI evaluation technology leader. We've been on the top 5 AI tool from GenAI Works. Had some couple of startup design partner, and we have a pipeline full of startups and enterprise AI and partners. We're hosting a webinar next week, and we have already 92 registrants. Among the names or in the registrations are Salesforce, Target, Walmart, JP Morgan Chase, Accenture, plus a myriad of very interesting GenAI startups in different domains. So it's moving along in the right direction. We had some success in our first design partner. So we had the company called TelNAI. TelNAI is a CPA company who was doing a copilot for CPA, and their problem was to prove that their system was better than using an LLM to reply to CPA questions. The challenge was to prove to investors that they could have an ROI. The customer, they could come to them for CPA copilot instead of going to ChatGPT or large language models. So what we did is we had them, making a report showing that their accuracy in CPA question was way better than any other LLM. That allowed them to raise $1 and secure their first client. In terms of teams, so we have founder team with like 65 years of experience. So we're not exactly kids here. Myself, I have 30 years in sales, strategy, operation. I built teams and restructured companies. I had my own first exit as well, and I was an executive into a big group. And then I studied AI about 2-3 years ago, helping a company called Libertify. Hernan Lardiez, he's a 25 years in technology. He's also a technical head start because he started coding AI like 30, 40 years ago. So he's a old guy in there. He was at Nokia, Microsoft, Sage, and Intel. And we have a CMO who is working in today with Procore, which is also an AI platform, and was at Cloudera, SADA, and Intel. So, we're a bunch of good guys here trying to build something great. We're trying to raise a safe right now, 1.5. 46% of that will go to marketing and customer acquisition. 27% of that will go to engineering. 27% of that going to operation. That is it for me. I try to be as fast as I can.
Perfect. Great job.
Thank you so much.
Any questions from the group? Great. Tony?
I don't want to. It looks pretty cool. It looks like it's reinforcement learning applied to sort of the agent deployment and valuation to make sure the feedback inferences are correct. So again, the application of that in the customer service arena, that's obviously is the biggest segment to tackle, and lots of companies are tackling that. So how do you do the sort of feedback loop, the evaluation with humans involved? Because it requires rewards to sort of say what's correct and what's not. Just curious as to what do you use to run that loop?
It means the first you understand what we do, which is amazing, and I love it. So second, we have a very simple way to see it. There is on the top of the chart your AI chat has, a large language model in the back, no matter what it is, Anthropic, whatever. And then it is connected to a RAG, so there's a knowledge base, right? And then it's connected to a system prompt. Our system will catch the response of your chatbot before even your user is going to see it. When our system catches it, it evaluates it. Now, it has metrics in the back. So I don't know. One of the metrics we demo all the time is context hallucination, for example. So contextual hallucination, what it does, it's going to compare the response to the relevance inside the database, right? And it's going to give it a score. So 1 being you have no hallucination, 5 you have high level of hallucination. I give you that as an example. When we find an hallucination, something that is completely out of context, we explain the reason why. Say why it was an hallucination. That why becomes a prompt, is automatically fed into the AI chatbots. For the AI agent chatbots, reply something more appropriate. By time, sometimes the chatbot or the AI agent doesn't do the mistake no more, because it has understood multiple times things that have been a pattern to itself, when it recognizes the pattern. So that's how it works. I mean, when we do live AI evaluation, when we do offline evaluation, we're based on what we call synthetic data sets: question, context, and ground truth. And what we do is simply comparing the response or the retrieval based on context or ground truth on the question that are pushed to generate answers. So that's how the system works.
Okay, thank you.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Perfect. Yeah, any other questions? All right. No, great job, great presentation.
Thank you so much.
Perfect. All right, with that, so here's their chart or QR code. Express any interest. You can also go back and express interest in any of the companies today. And then with that, I'd like to give another round of congratulations to our winter 2025-2026 graduates and celebrate all their success. So yeah, really appreciate everybody coming out, supporting all the ventures. And yeah, we can just use the rest of the time here, network, get to know each other in the room. And thanks again for coming out and supporting the Prepare for VC program. Thanks, and great job, everyone.
Thank you, Jason.
Thank you.
Thank you.